last year I did the Mario Maker Invitational at E3, and if that's the last thing I do for them, it's the highlight of my career. Just being able to be on the world stage in front of millions of people across the world on television and streams. Even though I won second place, I barely lost, but like,
I'm so jealous. So jealous, dude. Like, you don't even understand. Like, between Mario Maker, Invitational, and Nintendo World Championships, my gosh. Like, watching that stuff was so hard. Like, it was like, oh, man. That's like, you did outstanding, by the way. Like,
I had a very fun story about this. I told this a few times, but people didn't quite understand where I was. The first half of the Invitational, I was dying physically. Like, I was not good. I was in a very bad spot because they put these noise canceling headphones on my ears, and then they also put in them a drowning like black white noise machine.
mm-hmm.
So like I have insulated headphones, so it's really quiet, and all I can hear is this rhythmic noise. And if you go back and watch the clip, the commentators actually comment that like I was not looking okay, and they made fun of me for it. It's because my heart succinct with the rhythm of the white noise machine, and I had like heart arrhythmia for a minute, and I couldn't breathe, and I was like syncing up my heart to the rhythm of this machine. And when they took off the headset, I couldn't see anything. I saw bright lights. I heard all the noises. I was sweating. I was having a full-blown panic attack right there on stage.
Wow.
And I look over, and the Nintendo rep like carries me across and puts me in the chair, puts the headphones on me, gives me the controller, and then like we're playing Mario 3D World. And I realized I never played Mario 3D World in a 2D fashion this way, and I didn't know the mechanics at all. They didn't let us practice before, and so I just was like, I don't know how to play video games. I was overwhelmed with it. If you look at the clip, it looks like I won. It looks like I destroyed everyone in that opening clip. But what happened was the monitors were switched. So Feeny was the winner. She won, but our monitors were switched, so it looked like I won. And so people were like cheering me on, but by the next round, they switched them back, and so that's when Abdallah and I ended up winning. And after Abdallah and I won, that's when I woke up. Like I remember I was in the chair, I was like struggling, I asked for water, and I look up, and one of my employees, Bradley, he's like up in the mezzanine balcony above. And I'm like, I feel like I'm dying. And I look up and I see him, and he's got his Yoshi hat on. And he's like, it was like slow motion. He's like, wake up, Gerard, just do it. And right when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm good at games. And I just turned on, and suddenly I just went through the competition as well as I could. And I came back. But man, oh man, afterwards, I looked at the clips. I read the comments. I intrinsically, it was the hardest month of my life. Just seeing, dude, there were so many people who were like, you don't deserve to be there.
Sure.
You're not worth it. They should have put Grand Pooh Bear or Barb or one of the Mario Maker guys or Ryu Akar. You know, Feeny should have won. You're a waste of space. Like, like all this stuff. And but it's hard for me to hear that, because what people don't realize is that if you get the best Mario players in the world to play Mario Maker at the Invitational, it means that your Invitational will last about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because these guys are speedrunners. They break games. They're entertaining as hell, and they're very good at their job. If you put Grand Pooh Bear in to play the Invitational will be over in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I couldn't do it quick enough. Like, we made it work, right? Like, we all failed every now and then. Even Feeny did, and she's incredible. But people don't want to watch a fight that lasts 2 minutes. They want to watch it last at least 15 to 20 or 30. So when they invited me to do it, I absolutely said yes, because I wanted that opportunity. But I didn't see how bad the internet was going to roast me alive.
Sure.
And they roasted me specifically because I was the one that was not doing great. Like, there were a lot of moments, you know, in a Mario game, when you see individual spaced out blocks. You know, if you hold Y and run, you're fine. But because I was in this fugue state, I didn't see that. I just was like, I'm going to jump on every single block.
Sure.
And just the memes, the pictures, fans of mine who were like saying they've been with me for years were like, I'm disappointed in your performance. Like, it was an emotional toll that it took several months of therapy to like figure out, just because that microphone is so large, especially when it's on television. It was on CBS for 7 months. Every month I would see the rerun and be like, wow, this was a thing that I experienced. And luckily it didn't look like I was struggling, right? It didn't look like it was a big ordeal, but personally, and the social media aspect of it destroyed every fiber of my being. And it was so much fun. I loved it. But if I know what I knew going into that, I would have practiced so much more. I would have learned to have like really removed myself from the situation.
That's both amazing to hear and sad to hear, right? The idea of the impact. Social media is also a common thread on the podcast about just how bad social media is, just from a personal standpoint. It's just not a good thing.
It's bad. It's pretty bad.
I'll tell you, I only got you for a couple more minutes, so I want to kind of throw one thing out there. Like I'm not a huge fan of social media. It's one of those things. Unfortunately, I work on social media. YouTube is a social media platform. Twitter is a social media platform. These are all platforms that socially bring people together, right? But you as a creator who has a large audience, you said something that struck me there. You said you've had people who would follow you for years, and they said, "I'm really disappointed in your performance," or they kind of flipped a little bit, right? And they don't know the full story. Yeah. What would you say to those who are so quick to rush to judgment and ultimately rush to social media to berate, to talk down to creators that are creating content for them?
I don't know your story, so why do you know mine? Is the thing that I would tell them. We tend to have this one-sided relationship, right? As content creators, we output things into the world, and then people consume and they give back, and they reciprocate. They like it, they don't like it, they comment. But you really don't know what people go through on a daily basis. You have no idea. And at the same time, it goes the opposite way. When someone says something mean to me on social media, I have to filter their comment through a few different personal filters. I have to filter in a way of going, is this person actually mad at me, or are they having a rough day at their job and I'm the punching bag they decided to hit today? It's a hard feeling to process when you are the subject of hate. I think the thing that always blows my mind is if I get featured in things like Nintendo World Championship, like not the World Championship, the Mario Maker Invitational, or what's that?
It's so lucky.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Whether it's the Invitational or if it's it's a commercial for a brand, or if it's working with a company in official capacity. The thing that always surprises me is the comments of people who are like, here we are, another big YouTuber taking a top spot for a YouTuber on the bottom. And it's like, like this big YouTubers are taking over. And it's like, I put in the work. I put in the grind. I did 9 years of my time. I was a small YouTuber for a long time. And I had my explosive moments. And then I had the ones where no one showed up. I had the ones where I was friends with every YouTuber on planet Earth, and then I had the moments where all of them turned their backs on me, and then they all came back. Like, I've had so many personal ebb and flows in this business that to assume that you can put me in a checkbox without actually knowing me, more or less not even watching my content, is such a drastic assumption to make. But at the same time, that person may be going through something I have no idea about, and I have to take it with a grain of salt. And while they won't give me that same amount of fair judgment, the very least I can do is give them the benefit of the doubt, because they're not a public figure. they're not the one with the responsibilities of owning a business and running employee and payroll and insurance. They're not the ones that have to deal with the aftermath of a controversy or a video that was not good, that got misinterpreted, a statement that gets taken out of context. There's this super hyperized world, if you will, where people just want to latch onto the thing that validates how they feel in the moment.
Sure.
And context doesn't matter, and the presentation around it doesn't matter. But what does matter is how you understand it and how you relate to it, at least from their perspective. If I say, I don't like rice, right? I don't like to eat rice. And then you see a YouTuber make a video that's like, my problems with rice. And you watch this video and you're like, oh man, that's why I don't like rice. This person gets me. That's why I hate rice. And anyone who eats rice, how could they? How awful they are. And then they become a big advocate for harassing anyone who likes rice or anything in that way. And the next thing you know, you have someone who's just misdirecting all their anger towards something else. And it makes me sad for everyone out there, because if you're someone online who trashes a creator, puts them down, regardless of whether or not it's true, you're just trolling. Imagine if you took that energy that you used to control, to hurt someone, to manipulate them, to building something. If you took a little bit of that energy to be mean to someone and invested it into yourself, how much more fruitful you'd feel.